So today I'm actually going to do another training video, and this one is not really focused on Beyblade itself. This one is more focused on you as the player. So in so many different sports, we have a foundation, we have a base, and it all generates from what I like to call a fighter stance. Now, if you know my background, I'm a Marine Corps combat veteran, so I understand shooting. I'm a lifetime martial artist. I've been learning my entire life, so I understand combat sports, and that's why I call it a fighter stance. But through basketball, through baseball, through a lot of different other sports, I've realized that fundamentally the strongest stance is pretty much the same thing, just variations of the same stance. So the stance I'm talking about is used by Steph Curry, right? Steph Curry uses this stance. Archers use this stance. And even the Turkish guy from the Olympics this year used this stance. Now, I'm not saying you have to put your hand in your pocket and look super cool, but what I am talking about is putting both feet parallel and keeping them about shoulder width. The reason that I'm bringing up stance right now is because I've been to a few competitions and I've watched a lot of tournaments on the YouTubes, and a lot of people just walk right up and rip it and forget it, right? They hope, and this goes along with my training video, a lot of people are just shooting and they don't really know what they're doing. Not that they don't know what they're doing. Their combos are strong and a lot of things that they're doing are very strong. But fundamentally, if you don't have a base, then you're relying on the blade to do all of the work. I'm not saying by fixing our stance that we're going to be able to beat the meta-defining decks of the time, but what I am saying is that it doesn't matter what the meta deck is. It doesn't matter what blades are OP or underpowered. If we can focus on our shooting, our stance, if we can get all of the fundamentals right, learn the basics first, then as new blades come along, we can adapt to those, right? We can adapt in the sport and we can build on top of a base that we already have. If a Olympic archer went up, didn't have a great stance, had the best bow that they could buy, are they gonna put arrows on target? Probably, maybe, right? Without a good stance, they're probably not going to. But with a great rifle or a great pistol or a great bow or a great anything, you're now hoping that that does all of the work. And I think that's how a lot of people are seeing blading right now, is that, oh, well, I can buy this piece and, it'll just do the work for me as long as I have whatever the internet says that the combo is. So my question is that if all of these other shooting sports, if all of these other things for generations have had a great fundamental stance, then why are we any different? Okay, so the first thing I want you guys to do is to build a stance. Now, the strongest stance, in my opinion, is going to be that fighter stance like I've talked about, where your feet are parallel, they're going to be shoulder width apart, and mine are slightly staggered, right? The heel of this foot and the toe of this foot, they're slightly staggered at shoulder width apart. Now, from that, you can squat or stand as needed to reach that stadium for your shot. But really ground yourself, knees slightly bent, get comfortable in that stance, and build off of that same stance. What this is doing is this is creating a solid shooting base for you and getting the method, it's creating that muscle memory. So every time you go to shoot, every time you go to launch, you're gonna have that same mental preparedness because your feet are in the same place, you're grounding yourself, and you're readying your mind to go. So it does so many different things other than give you a strong base, because in this game, you don't really need a lot of strength. Could I stand up and just shoot it? Absolutely. But I'm grounding myself through my feet first, getting myself ready, getting my arms ready, and we'll talk about grip in a different video, but I'm getting that grip ready. Now my mind is getting ready. So it's going feet, through the feet, up to the hands, from the hands up to my mind. Now And all of this is happening split seconds because we don't have a lot of time. As you're squaring up, before you're putting that launcher out, before you're prepping, putting that hand out, you need to have a solid base. That is going to be your foundation. Then from there, once you put your hand out, that's when the countdown will start, because you're letting the ref know, hey, I'm ready, right? Hey, I'm ready to start that countdown. Once you put that hand out, you've now got to lock in your hands and your mind, because at that point, now I've got to read what my opponent's doing. Where is his hand placement? What blade is he using, right? I can be thinking about what blade he's using as my feet are getting ready. So now I'm looking at his hand placement. I'm trying to read where he's launching as I'm placing my hand, right? So now my hand and my mind are working in those 3 seconds we have prior to the game start. And that's all we have before we launch and our plan is in motion. So get that strong foundation, practice, get those repetitions in. I'm not saying that this is going to make you win, but what I am saying is that if we're building a strong foundation, our shots are going to be more consistent. We're going to have better repetitions and we're going to get better in time. But once we have that strong base, it doesn't matter what blade we're using, we can adapt to that. The strong base is what we need first. So just like any other sport, stance is extremely, extremely important in Beyblade. All right, guys. Hey, remember, if we want other people to take us seriously and to take Beyblade seriously, we have to take it serious. All right? So use this stance, put your pieces together, and have an awesome day.